you're taking time, you're being upfront, clear lines of communication. I think these are things that they should value, right? Now, the good news is if you do it the right way and you set it up the right way with the right people and you get ahead of it, it also, to your point, can create leverage. But it's natural. It's not manufactured. It's not like, is it really leverage? I don't know. Like, it's legit because it's true.
Welcome to Insights for IT Negotiations, a podcast by UpperEdge, a leading IT sourcing, negotiation, and project execution advisory firm. I'm John Belden, UpperEdge's Chief Research and Strategy Officer.
And I'm Kylie Chisholm, UpperEdge's Marketing Manager. Join us every other week as we share insights to help you maximize the value of your key IT relationships. In each episode, we'll delve into the topics that matter most to IT decision makers and sourcing professionals.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Insights for IT Negotiations. My name is Kylie Chisholm. I am UpperEdge's Content Marketing Manager. I am joined today by my co-host, Adam Mansfield. Adam, how are you doing today?
Doing great. It's April.
It is
exciting.
Yeah. It's April. It's Friday for us, so we're here to have a good time, a good conversation before heading into the weekend.
Absolutely.
And we are having a very interesting conversation, something that I know you are more than a subject matter expert on. We're talking the SaaS vendors. We're talking about the things they do that are just frustrating to customers, what they can do better, what they're doing wrong a lot of the time. So we were just chatting before recording that there's a lot here, and we can really go into the weeds. So I'm excited to hear more from you on what we're seeing in the market and where the SaaS vendors can do better.
There's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of things I could say. But I will keep it I'll keep it PG. But no, honestly, I really liked, in talking with you prior to joining today, in one of our prep sessions. I think this is it's a good topic because, quite honestly, I look at it from two lenses. The first is obviously the people that we get to interact with, our clients, our customers, right? But I do generally believe that, if these SaaS vendors, if these account reps that work at these vendors, like, just took the time maybe even to just think about the things we're going to talk about, right? The voice of the customer. I actually think it could help them too, honestly. Yeah. So not to be cheesy, but like that whole win-win, I really do believe in that. And that's why I'm excited to talk through these things.
Let's just dive right in. So can you share some of the common frustrations that get shared with you regarding the big SaaS vendors? I know you work with a lot of Microsoft, Salesforce, and ServiceNow customers. So what's really grinding their gears with their vendors?
I love that saying. So yeah, I mean, a couple things, right? The one that's most top of mind right now, it's, hey, I'm kind of, especially when you think about Microsoft, Salesforce, ServiceNow, and others, I'm just kind of getting really frustrated, Adam. I'm getting really frustrated with constant jamming down my throat or my team's throats about the next thing, which is always typically AI related, right? It's always, again, this isn't a new thing, and this is not unique to any of these vendors. Mm-hmm. But that ratcheted kind of push and focus on the new and the shiny and the AI and that whole world, it's causing frustration, right? Because it's like, look, I get it, but what about the things that we already have and we're spending a lot of money with you on? Like, where are you proactively? Why aren't you knocking my door down, asking to have a coffee meeting, sending multiple emails, fax if you could, pigeon letter delivery if you could? Why are you not doing it about the things that I actually already have and how I can get more out of it? I will get there with you on AI. We will talk about it. I may have already even done it. What more do you want? You keep knocking down my door. It's not going to really change things.
Yeah.
Like, that is, honestly, that's the number one frustration. It's the number one frustration. It's not to say that there isn't interest, right? Like, I don't want that to be perceived here. Like, look, the customers we work with, most of them are very large, right? Strategic customers, long-standing customers. There's interest in AI. There's interest in Copilot. There's interest in Agentforce, is interested in upgraded Pro Plus to get the Now Assist. Some of them are even doing POCs and testing and giving meetings, but like enough of like the constant push. Just stop. And then the other thing, right, is you kind of, there's a lot here, right? But the other one that's definitely top of mind, and this is not new like 2025, but like these universal price increases that seemingly are coming all over the place, like all the vendors, Microsoft, Salesforce, like they're releasing these, hey, we've decided because of all this added value that we've added to our products, it's time for us to finally increase our pricing. Like, it's not resonating. It's just causing frustrations, right? Because you have to think about what I just said. These same customers, most of them are like, yeah, I don't think I'm getting the full value out of the product.
Yeah.
You're going to come to me with a 40%, 15%, 12%, 10%, double digit, meaningful, universal, because you're going to put a deck in front of me or an email or a press release that says, hey, look at all these added things we did. It's time for you to pay me more. That does not land well at all. Yeah. On top of that, same theme, big level of frustration when then on top of it, customers submit those proposals and it calls out all of our pricing went up for everybody. It's not just you. And by the way, we had to take away some of your discounting that we gave you last time. So here's your new number. It's much bigger than what you're paying. I get it now, but hey, a lot of added value.
Yeah.
And then it just causes these customers to be like, what are you talking about? I'm not using, you do not know my relationship. You do not know the value that we're getting. And by the way, I'll make this clear. There's customers out there that maybe are using it and feel very comfortable with the products and they're happy and they're getting the full value. It still is causing frustrations when they get hit with a 25% price increase. That is not going to land well, ever.
Well, and it feels like over the last several years, you and I are just constantly having those conversations of this is now increasing. This is now increasing in creating content around it because it's important for our customers to know. But even I'm like, oh my God, I'm not the customer. I'm not in the customer's shoes. And I'm like, I can't believe how often we're getting hit with price increases.
It's funny, Kylie, that you brought that up because it's exactly right. And I'm glad you did. For those that don't know this, I do produce, a fair amount of content, and definitely part of that is blogs. And what I will just let you know is I don't write them all myself all the time. I definitely have help, and you're looking at the person that helps me. So kudos to Kylie, but that's absolutely right. Like, it's funny you put it that way. The amount of times you and I have a meeting about, hey, let's do an infographic on this. It's just all the time.
All the time.
It's all the time. So yeah, I mean, think about it if you're a customer too. Like, we're the ones writing about it. These people have to look at it and go, wait a minute, hold on. I'm spending $4 million a year. I just had a meeting with my team that says we're using about 75% of the product. And I'm looking at something that says my pricing's going up 30, 25, 30%.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Like, what am I missing?
So then I guess to your point, they're all very valid frustrations that they're having. So what do you tell customers after they voice these frustrations to you? And do you have any tips you can share that you often share with them?
Yeah. I've turned into a little bit of like a psychiatrist over the years, which is interesting. I'm definitely not qualified. But what I would tell you is that, there's a lot of and in all seriousness, there's a little bit of counseling that goes along, right? So before I even give them kind of like tips or like, hey, here's what we should do. Here's how we should get ahead of this. Before I even do that, honestly, a lot of what I do is to try to make them feel better that they're not being treated like they're not the only ones feeling this pain. Now, that usually doesn't make them feel better. Like, when in life does that make someone feel better? Like, hey, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to go, to do this or that, or you're not going to be able to, you didn't get your homework, your grades up. So, we're not going to be able to go, to the water park next weekend. Like, and don't worry about it. I know other kids aren't going to be able to as well. Like, that doesn't land well. Like, I don't care about the other kids. I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that, right? So, but I got to start there, right? I got to give them the kind of, I guess it's a benchmark, right? It's a benchmark. Yeah. It's like, hey, look, it's no different than anyone else. There's degrees of it.
Yeah.
But then, honestly, when it comes to like brass tacks, which I love that phrase, especially with tax season. What I would tell you is this: the very, very first most important thing, and I really, really believe this, set expectations, get ahead of things, right? So like if you're in the midst of a negotiation right now, it's a little hard to get ahead of it. But often the conversations I have are more about, hey, I heard this is happening. This is going to happen. There's an increase coming. Hey, I know they're going to be pushing Agentforce really heavy. My renewal is not for a year from now, but I know I got to get ahead of this. I know it's coming. I can already feel it. It's, yeah, great. Here's what I would recommend. 2 conversations. I'd get the account reps in the room, right? Set expectations with them. And if needed, do an elevated conversation. If you're a senior individual listening to this, CIO, chief digital officer, head of line of business executive, whatever it is, call upon your relationship too, right? I would get ahead of it and say, hey, look, I know what's coming. I know what's coming. You're going to want to have a meeting with me about why Agentforce and Data Cloud is the right thing as a Salesforce customer. I know you're going to do that. I'm just going to give you some tips before you do that, okay? The only way anyone's taking a meeting about that is if I feel comfortable or we feel comfortable that these 3 things are being addressed, which are, how am I going to get more value out of this? Why am I keeping signature success? Again, if you're a Salesforce customer, if you're a Microsoft customer, I signed up for E5 3 years ago. I'm not getting the full value. You want me to add Copilot on top of this. Before you do that, I need you to bring people in and walk through, and we'll provide the topics for you, how I'm going to get more out of what I already have. In other words, I know you're going to want this, but before I give you access, time, effort, not saying it's not going to happen, I need you to do these things. Get ahead of it. Because what that's going to do is a couple things. One, I think it's always healthy, right? Clear line of communication, it's key to everything.
Yeah.
It also is going to start to take away the opportunity, and it's going to take away the opportunity for them to really run their playbook, right? Like, let's just be honest. When these announcements of a price increase or product rollouts, upgrades, before all that happens, they internally build the playbook so that there's a game plan before it's even released, before the increases happen, so that these sales reps can get out there and start running the playbook to get what they want. Take it away from them. Make them feel uncomfortable. Make them have to adjust, because they don't want to be talking about how you can get more out of what you already have. They're going to be directed to get you to do what they want, which is meetings about the new things, which is about using these price increases to potentially get you to adopt other things that they want, right? They're going to run their playbook, get way ahead of it. Now, at the end of the day, this other thing that this does, by getting ahead of it and having these expectation setting type conversations, and I always recommend follow up in writing, right? Follow up in writing, right? Make things crystal clear. There's an element to this that we already know what's going to happen. And I hate to say this, it's not going to be wasted effort, but they're still going to run their playbook. They're likely going to ignore. They're likely still going to try to push. And that's okay, right? Because now, especially that elevated touch point, that elevated meeting becomes very interesting. Because now you can go back and say, hey, my team had a meeting, very clear. Very clear. There was an email. By the way, I'll pull it up on the screen as we're talking. And it said what we need. It said what I'm asking you not to do. And then I'm going to show you the 15 emails that my people have been getting about a topic we told you not to be pushing. I need to really understand this, because this is not a partnership. This does not feel right. This feels pushy. This feels like you're not listening. And you're not listening to me while I just cut you $15 million payment for my next annual anniversary check. Yeah. Like, that doesn't feel right. So in other words, you're frustrated and you have a right to be frustrated, but the real way to help your frustration is to turn it into something. Yeah. Because there will be a renewal, there will be discussions. And by the way, you might be interested in these new things that they're pushing. You might actually believe that the products you're using have a lot of value. You're not agreeing with the increase in the pricing, but like, get ahead of it. Voice your frustrations in a controlled way, because then you can leverage it later, which really will be beneficial, not only to you, but your company.
Did you know that UpperEdge offers subscription advisory services? This on-demand solution provides essential benchmarks and market insights specific to your business needs precisely when you need it, empowering you and your team to make informed decisions for your IT initiatives. Position your team for success. Reach out today via the link in the show notes to learn more.
I feel like if I've learned anything, it's that these vendors are banking on you not knowing what to do and thinking that you have no leverage, and the best thing that you can do is create that leverage, and to your point, disrupt their playbook, because they're going to go in assuming they can just run it and call it a day. You want to be that disruptor.
100%. And honest, I mean, listen, the funny thing about this, and this is part of these conversations I have, is that if you really just think about things, all you're doing is being honest.
Mm-hmm. All
you're doing is offering guidance because of the partnership.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you are literally you're busy. Everyone's busy. You're taking time. You're being upfront, clear lines of communication. I think these are things that they should value. Right?
Yeah.
Now, the good news is if you do it the right way and you set it up the right way with the right people and you get ahead of it, it also, to your point, can create leverage. But it's natural.
Yeah.
It's not manufactured. It's not like, is it really leverage? I don't know. Like, it's legit because it's true.
And then one thing that I hear you talk about a lot are the problems and the pains that come with some of the licensing metrics specifically that SaaS vendors are pushing. We've been talking a lot about the consumption-based model recently, but I know that's just one example. So I assume these are creating issues for customers. Can you speak a little bit to that and the issues that you're seeing?
There's a lot of conversations we're having now because customers are seeing kind of these vendors start to move more towards consumption-based, really pushing those percentage of net license metrics that are not tied to a head count, right? And the problem is it's becoming more of an issue because it's becoming more widespread as the metric tied to the products these customers are using and know they have to still use, right? So it comes up all the time. So it really comes back to what I said before, right? Like, you got to set expectations. So think about that meeting we just talked about. I would be getting ahead of this too, right? Like, if there are products you're interested in, so let's go to those AI products, so Agentforce for Salesforce, Pro Plus upgrades that include Now Assist as perfect examples of consumption-based. If you are interested, or if you're willing to give access and time and workshops and POC, right? Maybe that's part of the expectation setting meeting, which is, hey, we'll do some meetings, but I still need you to do this. What I would tell you is, as part of the meeting, I would get really ahead of. It might feel commercial. I'm not saying you get into a negotiation yet, but I'd be getting ahead of setting expectations on this. Like, hey, look, I'm going to have you guys come in and explain this a little more to me, but my understanding for Agentforce, it's consumption-based.
Yeah.
It's number of conversations. It's not head count. I am very aware of the flywheel effect. Like, once you start tasting something, the dollars can spin out of control. ServiceNow, same thing. I get it. It's a little bit of a hybrid. There's a number of assists, and you burn through them, and then you owe more. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, let's say we get over the hurdle of we understand there's value, and we've gotten over that. Let's say we can even get over the economics. If I don't have, like, full transparency, clear definitions as to what a conversation is or what an assist is, if I don't have those figured out, that is like table stakes. So when you come in and talk about it, yes, I want to talk about value. I want to talk about ROI, productivity, all of it. But I want very clear definitions. I want clear understanding as to what consumption actually means. We need to see that. The other one that's out there is that percentage of net. That's a big one. Like, that's been around for a while, right? Maintenance contracts from percentage of your net spend is what what it's gonna cost for your maintenance or your support. Percentage of net is widespread. So Salesforce, you got Shield, you got Signatures of Success, you got other products. That is a problem too. Yeah. So when I talk about setting expectations, hey, look, we might be thinking about adding Signature Success Salesforce. We might be thinking about adding Shield because we want more security. And other vendors as well, right? But again, table stakes here. We'll talk about it, the value, we'll do it. But if I don't have understanding completely on what the percentages apply to, how the metric works, what is the actual percentage, can I decouple, can I apply the percentage to, does it have to be all my products? Because I don't think I need support for these 3. If I don't have that transparency, forget it. I don't even care about the commercials at that point. I don't care about the investments you're going to give me. I don't care about the success stories you're going to show me. I need that as table stakes for me to give you access and interest to products that have percentage of net licensing metrics. Just like these consumption-based, which are most of the AI stuff, I need full transparency, period. Yeah. And then honestly, as part of this, it all flows together. I'm not saying you do this as kind of the upfront set expectations discussion, but eventually you need to start pushing on, percentage of net. You got to make sure you have the right percentage. You got to make sure that, you have clear line of sight, as I discussed before. For consumption, obviously you want to negotiate down the per unit. So like, how much is a conversation? How much is an assist? You got to negotiate volume discount structures, right? Because if this thing spins, you should be getting economy of scale and dropping down your per unit price, right? 100%. Yeah. All this needs to be table stakes. I'm not saying you necessarily get into the commercials at those expectation setting meetings, but if you don't already have it as part of your playbook of if they want to earn your business, these boxes need to be checked. Like you're set up for failure, and the vendors know this. And this is the key. The reason why really customers are frustrated about consumption-based or percentage of net is because they're not stupid. They know that these models, these licensing metrics are really in place because they ultimately are going to benefit them, the vendor, not the customer. They know, they're not stupid. Mm-hmm. So they already understand this. And so put that out there. I mean, be kind and respectful about it. But also when you're sitting, listen, I get it. I know why it's consumption based. Mm-hmm. I know why, like this is about your investment community. This is about driving revenue, right? I get it. I know why percentage of net's important because it doesn't really tie value to spend. Yeah. That doesn't work for me. So if you're going to force me down this path, these are the table stake expectations, transparency, so forth and so on. Like that's how you're going to overcome your frustrations, is to put it out there, lay it out there, and see how they react.
Yeah. And to your earlier point, find that win-win. Find where there's a benefit to the vendor and a benefit to you. You're getting what you need out of it. You're getting more value for what you're paying, but still abiding by these structures that the vendor is sort of pushing you down.
It's like anything else in life. You can't always expect it to be exactly how you want things to be, right? That's not how it works. Especially in this world, SaaS, especially with these vendors. These are large strategic vendors for most of these customers we're talking about. This is not like $100,000 a year. Maybe for some, which is a lot. I get it. But we're mostly work with enterprises, right?
Yeah.
The bottom line is it's a conversation. Like, look, you're not going to change your licensing model. Fine. You're not going to change it for me and keep it for everyone else. I understand you probably can't do that. Fine. But like at the same time, there are things I'm asking for that I think you can do. So if I constantly get no as the answer, if I constantly feel like you're pushing something without giving something at the same time, like, what do you want me to do? Of course I'm going to be frustrated. What's going to happen is when there's other opportunities, other products I'm interested in, other things I'm interested in, the impression I have of you may impact me to say, you know what? I'm going to give someone else a shot.
And to your point, we have a lot of content on this specific topic, especially recently with, consumption-based, the changes towards consumption-based. So we'll definitely be sure to link those in the show notes so that our listeners can get even more in the weeds on all that. Because it's a hot topic and it's a tricky thing to navigate for sure as a customer.
Most AI, not all, but most AI offerings, which is the thing that everyone's pushing, right? Most of it is going to tie back to some level of a consumption-based model.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's today, but it's going to obviously be for tomorrow too. And that's really important for customers. So good point.
Yeah. All right. Well, then as we wrap things up, if you had a direct line to the account execs at any of these SaaS vendors, what is one thing that you would tell them that they should really consider doing differently? What's some parting advice that you have for them? How do we get that win-win scenario?
Yeah. It's funny. Obviously, hopefully they're listening to everything. But as a springboard to that, right? It's really simple for me. I just think if they just took a step back and listened, right? Maybe listen and then be proactive. So maybe that's two things. And I know you asked me for only one, but give me a little grace there. I think they go hand in glove, right?
Yeah.
Just listen. Take time, ask questions. Hey, listen, be honest. Like, hey, listen. You probably know I have some mandates. I got to get a meeting with you to talk about is Agent Force or is Now Assist or is Copilot. Are they a possibility? Are you interested? I got to get a meeting. I got to do it.
Yeah.
But like, before I do that, right? Like, I just want you to know that I also am paying attention, right? I listened in that last meeting and I heard that you guys aren't using everything out of E5 right now from Microsoft. I was in the meeting on ServiceNow, a completely different product, the HRSD, and I heard the frustrations with the fact that all employee counts are part of that metric. I heard that, and you know what? I'm trying to figure out ways we can work together to overcome that. I am. So I'm just asking, can I get a little time to talk to you about that? But I promise you, I'm going to come back with something on these other issues too. Like, honestly, if that happened, number one, the executive, the person you reach out, likely might have a heart attack. So I don't want that to ever happen, but they might. They will, if they're reading it as though they shouldn't be while they're driving, the car may swerve off the road, right? You're going to get their attention. Okay. I'm promising you this. And one more thing on this, because I think it's very, very timely. And it was a conversation I had last night. Think about conferences, right? Knowledge is coming up. ServiceNow Knowledge, right? Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how many customers that I talk to, senior level people spending millions of dollars a year with ServiceNow, who are actually interested in potentially upgrading to Pro Plus, that are sitting here going, Adam, I haven't even heard from my rep, and I'm going the CIO with 5 other people to Knowledge, and I haven't even heard from my rep yet. I haven't even gotten guidance on like what sessions I should attend, who they want me to meet with, why I should attend a certain message. I got nothing. Like, think about it. This isn't even listening. This is just like proactive, normal course of business, I would think. Like, hey, listen, I was in that meeting a couple months ago, and I heard what was said. There's a session going on Tuesday at 3:30, and it's this company that's going to be talking about how they got more value out of X product. I really think it'd be great. And by the way, I reached out to the account rep who owns that account, and I'd love to broker an introduction for the two of you to meet while you're there.
Yeah.
Like, that would change the entire game if a vendor took that approach. It really could lead to more, ironically, for them. Yeah. But they just got to take a step back. Listen. Understand your customer. Yeah. This should be 101 stuff. But I'm just saying, like, that one change, that one piece of advice, if I could give it, that's what it is.
Yeah. No, I think that's great advice. I think this was a great conversation. I feel like selfishly on my end, we've talked about each of these things individually a lot. So to have it all in one comprehensive conversation, tying it all together, I feel like I'm getting some insight into those conversations that you're having with our clients every single day. So yeah, thank you for this conversation. I think our listeners will find it really helpful.
Yeah, no, always. And anyone who is listening, I put this out there a lot, and I mean it, reach out. Happy to talk about it. I just am. We at UpperEdge are, right? But like, I obviously speak to myself here, like these frustrations, I'm sure you feel. And I'm happy to talk about them, right? Yeah. Because it's important. It's kind of my vessel, if you will, to be able to help. Mm-hmm. Because I think ultimately, if there's some improvement made, it's going to help everyone.
And I will make sure to have your LinkedIn linked down below, as well as the UpperEdge Contact Us page, so that our listeners can reach out and start a conversation with you or with any one of our other vendors, depending on their specific portfolio. But thank you again, Adam, for this conversation, and thank you to everyone for listening.
Thank you, Kylie.
Thank you for listening to Insights for IT Negotiations. This episode was hosted by John Belden and Kylie Chisholm and produced by Mike Brown. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss a new episode. For more information on IT sourcing and risk management strategies, visit upperedge.com and subscribe to our monthly UpperEdge newsletter. Thank you for listening.